Hello guys, welcome to our online math classes. Today's presentation is about percent and most and useful fractions. Okay, today's topic is about percent and most common fractions or percent of most common fractions. It depends how you're looking at. This is like a multiplication table. Okay, you have 10%. You have to see that 10% is equal to 10 divided by 100, okay? And if I change this into a decimal, I will cancel out this, and this is going to be 0.1. Okay, very simple. Let's do the same. With 20% is equal to 20 divided by 100. If I cancel out my division of 2, that's 2 is divided by 10 is going to be equal to 0.2. Okay, let's go on. 30% is 30 divided by 100. If you cancel out the division, you're going to find out that the answer is, in a decimal point form, 0.3. See the regularity, there's like a rule. Let's go to 40%, which is 40 divided by 100, and it will become 0.4, which is very simple that we have to move the decimal point 2 places. How about 50%? 50% is going to be 0.5. Have you noticed we are going 1, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. How about 60%? 60% is going to be the division of 60 by 100. And if you do this division, this is going to be 0.6. And 70% is 70 divided by 100 will be 0.7. How about 80%? 80 divided by 100 is 0.8. Have you noticed? 1, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.7, 0.8. It depends on how much the percentage is. Now let's go to 90%. 90% is 90 divided by 100, which will become 0.9. Okay? Well, what happens when we have 100 divided by 100? Interesting. This is cancelled out and we will have 1.0, which is the equivalent of 100. I think this is very clear now for you. These are the most common fraction from percentages. So if you know, they tell you 40%, you actually know that it's going to be a 0.4 in the decimal form. All right. We have another type of percents which are like this. We have 33 and 1/3%. Okay, how much is this going to be in a fraction form? Well, it's interesting, right? The first thing I have to do is change this into an improper fraction. This means that I have to multiply 33 times 3, which is going to be 99 plus 1. It becomes 100/3. But it's a percentage, so this should be divided by 100, right? And then I have to do this division so that I can find the fraction or the equivalent fraction. Well, as you know, a division of two fractions is like multiplying the second fraction changed into multiplication. So it's like having 100/3 divided by 100. But I change it into multiplication and it has to be inverted. Well, I can't cancel out, and my answer is going to be 1/3. So 33 And 1/3 of percent is equivalent to 1/3. Let's see another example. Let's see that we have 66 2/3 of a percent. How much is going to be my fraction? I want to do it, change it into a fraction. Well, I have to convert this mixed number into a improper fraction. So if I multiply 66 times 3 and I add 2, I will get 200. 200 thirds. But since it's a percentage, should be divided by 100. Okay? Now I have to do this. I will do it in a very more detailed situation. If it was a division, this should be divided by 100, right? But since I have to change this division into multiplication to make things easier, what I have to do is change this into a multiplication by changing this fraction into the inverse. Now I can cancel out, and these two zeros are out from these two zeros. 2 times 1 is 2, and 3 times 1 is 3. So the answer of 66 2/3% is equal to 2/3. And I can change this into a very simple form of decimal if I want to. Let's do another example. Let's do this. 12 and 1/2 of percent. How can I change it? Well, I have to change it into a improper form. 12 times 2 is 24, plus 1 becomes 25. 25 halves. Since this is a percentage, should be divided by 100. Following the procedure, we have 25 halves times 100. Well, let's cancel out. How many 25s are there in 100? There are 4. And how many 25s are there in 25? 1. So 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 4 is 8. So 12.5% is equal to 1/8. All right? I think now you can understand how you can change very easily percents that have fractions as a percentage. For an example, let's do an exercise. Let's apply this. We want to know how much is 33.5% of 80,913. Let's see, it could be dollars. And we want to know how much is this going to be. Okay, well, since we already completed this exercise, this one, we go to this example and we have to change 1/3 into a decimal form. Well, let's find out how much is 1/3 into a decimal form. Okay, 1 divided by 3 is going to be equal to 0.33. Since it's a repeated decimals, I only have to multiply times my price, which is going to be $913. And the answer will be 8,913 will be equal to 2,941.30 cents of a dollar. Okay, so you have seen how easy it is to apply percentage to an amount. Okay? Well, I hope you understood, and I will see you next class. Good to see you guys. Bye bye.